Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Seun Okimale. Happy holidays to all our viewers, wherever you may be watching. Thank you so much indeed for joining us. We get straight to the issues tonight because we do not have as much time because we have so much to deal with tonight. So let's get to it. We'll be speaking with Mr. Alan Onyema tonight and his experience and that of his airline in getting into the fray of flying from Lagos to London, opening that space and putting a lot of competition, dragging down the price of flying and that route. It's caused a lot of ripples. Yes, economically speaking, the president has reacted to those issues. Also, we'll be delving into all this matter tonight. And of course, we'll get into the PDP and the state of the matter. Segun Showumi will be talking to me later on the program tonight. Stay with me, everyone. But let's check some of your political roundup stories.
President Bola Tinubu has felicitated with the Muslims in commemoration of Eid al-Fitr, which marks the end of Ramadan, and wished them a happy celebration. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngalale, the President greeted the Muslim faithful in Nigeria and all around the world, praying that their prayers and sacrifices this season and even after will receive fitting rewards from Almighty Allah. President Tinubu also appealed to all citizens to come together and rededicate themselves to the noble duty of building the nation, stating that we are the sculptor and Nigeria is the clay. We build it the way we desire. The Minister of Works has frowned at the slow pace of work ongoing at the LMS section of the East-West Road. Mr. Dave Umahi, who was in River State on an inspection visit, commended the quality of work ongoing, but complained about the pace of the work. He further threatened that if the pace isn't picked up, he may be forced to award a part of the job already being done to another company to do. A governorship aspirant of the All Progressives Congress in Ondo State, Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, says he will partner with investors to make the Ondo Seaport a reality within 6 months of his administration if voted as governor of Ondo State. Senator Ibrahim, who stated this during his consultation meeting with members of the party in Elijah and also the local government areas of the state, also asked them to vote for him in the APC governorship primary election. A governorship aspirant of the APC in Ondo State and former Ondo State House of Assembly member Mr. Lugbenga Edema is asking the APC leadership not to nominate the incumbent governor Mr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa for the November 2024 elections to avoid losing the state. At a press conference in Abuja, Mr. Edema, who petitioned the APC's national legal advisor, argues that Mr. Aiyedatiwa's candidacy is a risk that could lead the party to losing to opposition parties due to an alleged certificate scandal. He asserts that he's trying to prevent a repeat of the party's misfortune in Bayelsa State in 2019 when the Supreme Court nullified David Lyons' election over a certificate issue with his deputy.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Yesterday, we reported to you what some lawmakers said when they had a press conference, saying that they want Mr. Damagum, who is the acting national chairman of the PDP, to leave. If not, about 60 of them are ready to exit the People's Democratic Party. And one of those lawmakers was here on the program yesterday talking about what they will do, allegations against Mr. Damagum, the implication on the PDP and the future of the party. And of course, who is going to then now take over from Mr. Yocha Ayu, who has a lot of court cases on his hand. So let's talk about these and some of the issues relating to the state of the nation. Chief Segun Showumi, former governorship aspirant in Ogun State and a chieftain of the PDP, joins me live here in our Abuja studio. Thanks so much indeed for joining us.
Nice to be here, Sean. How are you?
And when you watched yesterday and you saw those lawmakers asking that Mr. Damagum should step aside and are saying they threaten actually that they will leave, about 60 of them, what comes to your mind?
I was sad because I felt that there's no reason why a party in opposition, especially a party with a history that is as deep as over 25 years, should run into that kind of headwind. But it's indicative of how mismanaged the party has been for some time, and it's also indicative of the fact that the people in the party probably just think that party management is easy. But I hold the view that party management is not very easy. I hold the view that a party must constantly be reforming itself and looking at its issues rather than scapegoating. I hold the view that a political party, because of the nature of how people join parties, none is all good and none is all bad. I hold the view that if you see a trend in your party, every time there's a chairman, he has to go, then the next thing he has to go, then he has to go. You have to ask yourself, what is the culture and the attitude in-house that leads to this? But luckily, like you remember, I taken the party to court, asking them to call a neck. Most people think that I was asking them to call a neck because I'm quarreling with the NWC or the party. No, far from that. I was asking them to call a neck because statutorily that is the second highest organ aside for our general convention. And I felt that since a lot of talk was going on around, people were having a lot of opinion, if the neck members, who are really much advanced and elderly people in the party, came together in the room and looked themselves in the eyes, they can then decide for themselves, okay, guys, enough. We have bickered enough. We have quarreled enough. We have blamed each other enough. Can we just take it east now and determine what is the direction forward? And
what about your court case?
It's there. I have a feeling that it must have had some, influence on why they are calling the neck now, because obviously they didn't call the neck forever and ever, and nobody bothered about it. Everybody was just grumbling and quarreling and, saying a lot of things in-house and under the table, and I felt, no, enough. It's time to call the neck, for them to call the neck. And my hope is that when we get to the neck, or when they get to the neck, those statutory neck members, they can look at the whole issues holistically, and then they can take some far-reaching decisions. It's not an easy neck. I know it's not going to be an easy neck. I expect it to be a make or man neck. If they go in there and they, don't tell themselves the truth, they try to say one side is bad and one side is good, they'll get the result. If they go into the neck and pretend as if issues can be swept under the table, they'll get the result. But if they go to the neck and tell themselves that based on what's going on in the country, based on their responsibility as the leading opposition party, and the fact that whatever we say, every election, we start running towards the next election, they will take some far-reaching decisions, which I think will be in the interest of everybody. But whatever decision they take, we'll live with it.
You heard the allegations against Mr. Damagun, which, of course, Honorable Ikenga Gochinyere stated a lot of it yesterday. Allegations, the fact that he's colluding, he's in bed with the ruling APC. What do you make of those kind of weighty allegations?
I'm someone who likes to I speak and I talk very forcefully, but I try not to get into libel. And once you can't provide evidence and you libel someone and substantially deform the person, that's a problem. I like people to come to the table with the evidence. I like people to speak cautiously that we suspect. I don't like people who say, I'm so sure, because when it then comes to a libel situation where they're telling you, hello, come and prove that which you said, you've deformed my character, you may not exactly be able to say that. And I know where this tendency is coming from. It's coming from an unusual situation in the politics of our country, which has never happened before, which is the Nyesom Wike challenge of the politics of Nigeria and the politics of the PDP. What's that challenge? Typically, when somebody is out of the party, they're fully out. And when they're in the party, they're fully in. For the first time in the history of our politics, forget about what they say about the era of the former Attorney General of the Federation, Bola Ige. We have someone who is very, very influential in our party, who is playing very big roles in another party, who is saying this is their position even for the future, given the history of the past, and who people say still has some, influences here and there. And because people are unable to know how to deal with that situation, everybody's just hanging everything on one person, and anything that resembles anything close to that guy gets them to get free nerves. I think that ideally a political party of our stature should have better capacity to manage issues. You can't have a wicked problem before the presidential primaries. Remain on a wicked problem during the primaries. Remain on a wicked problem when you have the vice presidential select. Remain on a wicked problem when you were going campaign. Be on a wicked problem almost 1 year after inauguration. You can't be serious.
Is wicked the problem of your party?
No. I think that the party itself and the handlers of the party and the members of the NWC and some of the stakeholders are the collective problem of the party. Because ask yourself one question. Do political parties not have rules? Do they not have regulations? Do they not have what constitutes a breaking of their rules? Do they not have protocols that says, once this happens, this is the result? But when you start to kind of like invent your opinion as you go along, you're going to have the kind of challenge we have. So I think no man can be in two parties at the same time, and no man can serve two masters at the same time. Within that context, I get the anger. but how do we solve the problem? I think that the NEC will give them an opportunity to hypocritically look themselves in the face and blame somebody else and not themselves. But I think that before they get into the NEC, they should all blame themselves. When then they get into the NEC, then they should then appease themselves and come up with a middle ground. Politics is not about the exclusion of people. Politics is about the inclusion of everybody and the managing of everybody within the house. You can look at our rivals. Look at Edo, for instance, our rivals. Our rivals in Edo, they did the primaries. Some guy came up, who alleged Oshomole's person. They canceled it. They did another one. The other guy came up. And within a minute or two, they reconciled. They brought the other guys, deputy governor. They're moving forward. What are we doing? We seem to enjoy bickering more than strategic planning for an election. And I think that, I'm running for chairman, right? When I become chairman, I'll try to set them right and prevent them from being...
How can you become a chairman, Mr. Shewumi, when it is not the turn? Because the plan is to replace, to substitute Senator Yocha Ayu. And there are those who believe that that must happen from the North Central. Microsoft needs to, in fact, is a senatorial zone.
No, we know what the constitution of the party is, yes. That there's an expectation that once one person loses the seat, maybe he dies or something happens, that zone, it's not micro-zoned in the constitution, that zone replaces him. The question you will then ask is, if Ayu is still in court, fighting to get his mandate back, what are you really replacing? Then the second question you will ask is that, is a political party going to pretend as if all is well when all is not well? Why don't they just take the bull by the horn, give themselves some time, run a new convention, rejig the whole thing, and give us an NWC that can charge for at least 2 years before we get to primaries? If they assume that, okay, what they would rather have is look for anybody that they can find to come and replace Yoshia, let us pray that they're able to manage the legal consequence of that. But I think that that's not the right way to go. It's the same reason why our rivals were able to look themselves in the eyes and pick a Muslim ticket. Because science told them that if they try to do it any other way, they're going to lose. We can't be sticking to dogmas when our intention is...
So if you want to run for the national chairman of the PDP,
yes,
that means you will distort the whole arrangement.
No. What if I'm going to run for the national chairman of the PDP? That means I'm saying that we should rejig the entire ESCO.
When the tenure is not over, there is a scheme.
Well, one of the big things about the NEC, why it's different from every other organ, is that the NEC has enormous power by our constitution. The NEC of our party can say, okay, all things considered, we want to have a convention in 3 months' time, or whatever they decide. And if it is obviously their decision that, okay, they want to pretend that we have a good publicity, pretend that we have a good youth leader, pretend that we have all the other organs right, and it's only one man that is wrong, we'll all live with the consequences. I'm happy to see them go through that.
You wonder, where are the fathers, the founding fathers of the PDP? Where are they? Are they looking at the PDP that the party is in a mess right now?
If you see me push so hard, I'm pushing so hard because I feel that a 25-year-old institution is supposed to be one of the legacies that one of the most populous black nations will tell the world that we can also run this thing. I'm disappointed that all the founding fathers, the Jonathans of this world, the Obasanjos of this world, and co. I'm disappointed that they're looking at the platform that gave them the opportunity to lead. I'm disappointed that they're looking at it, bleed, and they're not doing anything. And if they will be tired and they cannot do anything, then it behoves those of us that are very futuristic about the country, about the party, about democracy, understanding that beyond winning elections, a political party in opposition has another duty. Its duty is to put the feet of the ruling party to the fire, come up with alternative policies, give them a different way of doing things, and try to tell the world that there is hope here. Every election is a referendum in 2 ways.
There's a feeling that your party is a failure as an opposition.
I must accept that it's not done as well as we would have loved it to do. But the thing is that the tail of the dog can't wag the dog. That's part of the reason why we're saying get them all out and let's get...
So your party is a failure?
No, it's not a failure. Listen, I'm saying the tail cannot wag the dog. A lot of our members are doing everything they can on social media, but there is that gravitas that the leadership of the party...
We're not talking about membership doing it. We're talking about a platform. As a political party...
Shehu, you're not listening.
You are talking about your members. You're talking about tail wagging the dog.
Yeah.
I'm saying, as a collective, as an institution, as a political party, a leading opposition in the country,
yes.
Has your party not failed in its role at putting the feet of the ruling party in the fire.
You know, Sheon, I like the fact that people in Nigeria think that the only way to do opposition work is Gestapo and call people out and overturn the country. And that's not how to do opposition work. Within the context of offering alternative policies and alternative opinion and criticizing them, we are doing the much. More can be done. But don't get used to the fact that what you call opposition politics is the nonsense that they were doing when they were in opposition. They wanted to remove subsidy when it could have been done easily. They said no, they filled the streets. What are you going to get in that? And now they're so that's not opposition. That's what I'm telling you. People think that the era of everybody just, no, we're not going to agree. That's not opposition. Opposition is strategically thinking about the problem together with the ruling
party. Is your party doing that, Shegun?
Absolutely,
that's
we
the
are.
question
Let
I'm
me give you
asking.
one. We just asked them a couple of days ago to come and explain to us why, of all the things we need to be doing in the country.
That's Atiku Abubakar.
That's right. That's leader of opposition.
No, that's an individual.
No,
and
that's leader of opposition. You have to understand, he's the last candidate of the party. He's the leader of opposition. And he has said in very clear terms, Mr. President, come and explain to us why you're spending so much money to do 4-point-something kilometers of road from the Lekki corridor, and why are you giving it to your friend? So these are the kinds of things that opposition does. But opposition doesn't. Look, can you imagine this country where we are now? If we were to move everybody into the street and we started saying we're not going to, do you know how volatile things are? We're more responsible than them. That's why we're not doing it that way. We're only saying that we can stylize it more. We can be more engaging. There's room for improvement. The Nigerians themselves, they have to ask themselves one question. Are they happy?
I love your tactical deflection. You do not want to accept failure as a political party.
I don't understand what you mean by failure.
No.
You know, look,
Mr. Shomi, let me lecture you for a moment.
Okay.
There are 4 legs in any democracy.
What are the 4 legs?
There is the government and the ruling party. Well, it's the party in power.
Yeah.
And there is the opposition.
Yes.
There is the civil society.
Yes.
And there is the media.
Yes.
Would you say, in your own mind,
yes.
Mr. Shomi,
yes.
and if you be truthful to Nigerians tonight,
yes.
that there is an opposition in Nigeria as a political party? And I'm not talking about Mr. Atiku Abubakar sending out statement.
Look, you're missing the point again. You may not like the style of the statement, but I'm sure that you get a lot of statements. I'm sure that you get a lot of statements.
You're actually also deflecting.
No,
because I'm not saying that Mr. Atiku Abubakar,
no, I'm saying about Atiku,
as a political party.
You're not listening.
Are you happy with what you are saying?
You're not listening. Are you going to tell me that you've never gotten press releases from the National Public Secretary, Debo Lugwagba, all the time? I'm saying to you that there's a different type of opposition.
So that's the best out of opposition.
That's not the best. Obviously, we can do. That's why I said the tail can wag the dog. We can do better than that, but
you don't want to accept that there is some failures in the opposition.
Don't you dare expect that the only thing that you guys call opposition is imploding the democracy.
As much as we are saying that the government must do more,
yes.
And we are also saying that you in the opposition must do your job.
Okay, maybe those of them with the responsibility. Yeah. I can accept that they need to scale up. If I didn't think they need to scale up, if it's not broken, why are we trying to fix it? I can accept that, but I'm just saying to you that get used to the fact that opposition doesn't necessarily mean emptying the citizens into the street. The system is too volatile.
Let me get your view on what the ongoing. There seems to be some kind of respite in the economy in the past few days that we have seen. Yeah, some respite. It was less volatile considering the monitoring of things. The indices are there and shows, especially if you look at the parity between the dollar and the naira, things are seem to have simmered. Go to the street of Wuse.
Sure. Can I just
a moment. I want to get your view on the state of the nation under the Tinubu government as an opposition voice. How would you describe things?
Listen, I wrote him a piece for his birthday. Then on the second thought, I thought, don't let me just disturb him so much. And the long and short of what I was saying in that piece was that, look, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you must understand that whatever it is that is wrong with our country now are mostly things that you caused. One of them being that you were the one that didn't think about the mass of our people and the poor people in the country when you ran into removing subsidy the way you did. And now we see that all you are ever willing to do is pound more pressure on the poor because you assume they are going to be helpless. If you tell me the dollar is coming down, I'll tell you that what does that really translate to when the price of food is still very high? By his own admittance, inflation is so high, he's just lackadaisically telling people he'll fix it when he can't he has not really fixed it. We have not seen anything in the country is even more divided than it's ever been united. If you ask me who caused that, all down to him and his policies and how he's running his cronyism of Lagos agenda, and people are even blaming the entire Yoruba nation as if there's some kind of Yorubanization. Please, Nigerians, on behalf of everybody else in the Southwest, the only agenda that Ashad Bola Ahmed Tinubu, president, is running is his Lagos agenda of his cronies. Take all the other Yoruba states out of it. He's doing it according to himself and his boys. And please do not begin to hate us for policies that obviously shows that he's only winning a government of himself, for himself, his family, and his allies. That's that. But in terms of whether the economy is doing well, don't deceive yourself. It's not. Before you can say the economy is doing well, you are going to have to see it in the real sector. How much are people paying for housing? How much are they paying for food? How much are they paying for accommodation? How much are they paying for transport? He has removed subsidy from day one. It's almost 11 months. And these geezers have not even figured out how to increase salaries of civil servants. Do you know the singular impact of just increasing their salary so that they have a little bit more money that they can use to impact the economy? Look, I know that the media, you guys in the media are their friends, and that sometimes you try to balance things and just give them the benefit of the doubt. But let's be honest. Nobody in the country.
Yeah, I know. Your presupposition is
it's good.
Yeah. No, it's very wrong.
It's good.
Yeah,
you guys are their friends.
You have your views.
Yeah, you have your.
Yeah, you have your views.
Sheung, you have your views.
We put their feet in the fire.
No. Listen, Sheung.
But we have a nation also. We remember. So as much as we are putting their feet in the fire.
Sheung, I get that you need to do that, but you need to hear me out.
I'm hearing you. But when you are saying the wrong thing, I will correct you.
I'm telling you, there's no wrong thing here. You are not connecting with the poor of the poor people in our country. We do every day. And when you connect with them, you're going to know that the people are laboring. And the thing that even upsets me the most about the Bola Tinubu administration is that the president, there's a way a leader talks with empathy. But you know how he talks? He does like deal with it. Or, he doesn't have any empathy. His aides and people who speak on his behalf, they speak over our head. Can you imagine some geezer telling us we start offering, we should put it on our fridges and freezers?
Can you stop calling people geezer on national television, please? That's wrong.
Do you know what the
family
mean?
television.
Do you know what a geezer is?
Geezer? Is a geezer?
Geezer,
okay.
Geezer is a slang for gentleman.
Yeah, I thought you said geezer.
No, I can't.
And you've used it too.
I said geezer. It's a slang for a gentleman.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let me just say, the gentleman came on TV and said, Nigerians should start putting on their freezers. It got that bad. Don't you think that everything that this Bola Tinubu administration does is just sleep for a while, wake up in the morning, say, okay, what else can we do to make life miserable for Nigerians? Boom. Next day, what can we do? Boom. Taxes. Next day, what can we do? Boom. Increase tariff for petrol. Next day, what can we do? Electricity. Next day, what can we do? They have to come and find new money to get a new national identity card. Okay, when the people are angry and you say that, throw them some crumbs and say you're doing palliative. We have been in this country for a while. It's never been this way.
So you don't rate this government at all?
I think that because we are members of the Southern Belt and our capacity in the media and all that is big, therefore we are pretending that what we would not tolerate in other people, we're going to be, shadow pampering it and powdering it. The reality on ground is that things are really bad. The reality on ground is that bar two or three in his cabinet, all the others are bloody failures. I think that he needs to look at that cabinet. It's almost coming to 1 year. I think that we can't normalize a nation where everybody is cowed to the extent that people can't even hold views. Even governors on our own stable are cowing to him. Look at the mess going on in Rivers. What kind of president would even allow that from his minister? You will expect that a president who is really a Democrat, who doesn't pretend to be a Democrat, will look at what's going on in Rivers and say that, okay, why is the governor in Rivers having problem? And says, why is my minister the one that is fingered in this problem? How much more do I need to say, no, listen, enough. Let the guy breathe. These are the kinds of things you expect leaders to do. Right. But not them. They are only interested in the next election. They are not interested in how the people fare. If they don't know how many people have died because of their careless policy and their draconian policy and their wicked policy. They have no idea. You know why? Because they feed fat on the misery of the people.
Segun Sowunmi is the chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, who was a governorship aspirant in Ogun State. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Totally my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much indeed. Giza, are you? You are one, right?
I am.
We'll take a break, everyone. And when we return, Mr. Alan Oyema is a proprietor and the CEO of Airpeace Airline. He will be joining us to talk about the aviation sector and the economy. Kudos to him and his team for going to London and crashing the price. But beyond that, what more do we know? After this break, everyone. Join us again. Everyone, tonight we'll delve into dynamic landscape of the aviation sector and its profound ripple effect on the economy, particularly in Nigeria. Since the momentous launch of Airpeace Airlines Lagos to London route, we have witnessed a seismic shift in both air travel accessibility and economic dynamics. The introduction of this route has not only expanded travel opportunities for Nigerians, but has also sparked a notable impact on airfare prices as more carriers compete in this lucrative route. We've observed a gradual decline in ticket prices, making international travel more affordable now for passengers. However, beyond the immediate implications for travelers, the ramifications extend deep into the aviation and economy sectors. Increased competition fosters innovation and efficiency within the aviation industry, while simultaneously stimulating economic growth through enhanced connectivity and trade opportunities. Tonight, we explore the multifaceted impact of this development on the Nigerian aviation and the broader economy. I'm being joined by the proprietor and the CEO of Airpeace Airline, Mr. Alan Oyema. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
We need to roll the drums and perhaps what they didn't do to your aircraft in Gatwick. Traditionally, they're supposed to give you a water salute, but that didn't happen. Would have given you a water salute, but you've been so wet on national television. But kudos, congratulations on that achievement. When we see one of our own locally doing something good, we must together join our voices to say kudos, congratulations, Mr. Oyema.
Thank you very much.
What has been the experience, though?
Well, I have to say not just congratulations to Airpeace or Alan Oyema, but congratulations to Nigeria. Congratulations to the government of the day and all well-meaning people of Nigeria. This country has been fleeced over time. And I'm a student of Martin Luther King, who says that unless you bend, no one rides you. We've bent for them for so many years. This is the time for everybody to stand up right so that nobody will ride you. What we did in the last 3 weeks and what is happening now is an eye-opener to everyone. That nobody can come and make your bed for you. We have to make that bed ourselves. And however you make it, so shall you lie on it. A situation where we allow this to happen for over 20 years now, or since the nation was born, is unacceptable.
I mean, when you say, there are those who will say, oh, it's a fit for Airpeace, and Airpeace is going to be making the money. But when you say that, congratulations to Nigeria and Nigerians and to the government, what do you mean? What benefit does it have for Nigeria and Nigerians?
Yes, like I've always said in the past couple of days, it's no longer Airpeace. Airpeace belongs to over 220 million Nigerians. What Airpeace did 2 weeks ago is benefiting the entire population of Nigeria, benefiting the government of the day, is benefiting the people of the day. For example, you were paying 15 to 17 million naira for business class going to the UK 6 hours flight, paying about 6 million for premium economy and about 4 to 5 million for economy. But 6 hours flight before now. Unacceptable. Then you go over to Ghana, you go over to Lome, you fly cheaper, more than half the price. You go to South Africa, 9 hours from Johannesburg to the UK, you pay less. Now, the direct airlines, we are taking 17 million business class, 15 million business class, 6 million economy, 5 million economy. Those who are going indirect, when you start going to Qatar, 8 hours, you suffer some 3 hours delay over there, or layover. Then you go to do another 8 hours to London just because you want to cut the cost. You go to Ethiopia, some 5 hours, you stay there for about 3 hours, you do another 6 hours or thereabout to the UK. You go to Morocco, you go to Egypt.
In fact, Nigerians had even started going to South Africa 6 hours down the line, then you come up and fly over Nigeria 9 hours. They were suffering. They were paying through their noses. Even the indirect airlines also cashed in on this because they were offering business class for 8 million. Nigerians were, oh, this one is cheaper. They were offering economy for, say, 4 million or 3 million. Oh, this one is cheaper. Then APs came on board. APs could have, if not for patriotism and that nationalistic instincts in APs or principles in APs, we could have done 10 million business class. And Nigerians would clap. They say, oh, APs is cheaper. Would have cashed in on it.
How much did you charge for business class?
4 million.
How much did you charge for first class?
4.5.
Wow. And economy, premium economy?
Economy, 1.2 million, starting from 1.2 million. So we brought it down. Remember, the foreign airlines told you that was because of dollar, the exchange rate. They were selling so much. So apart from our people paying through their noses, another thing this did to the economy. This dollar problem was not Tinubu's creation. I said it before now, and I've proved it to the entire world. People were blaming President Bola Tinubu. It was, I mean, a play of both internal and external conspiracies. These airlines were taking into the market a lot of money, chasing dollar every day, buying at any amount.
But they are always complaining that their monies are trapped with CBN.
I'm coming. But it's no longer CBN now. They take their money from their commercial banks, go out there in the market, buying dollar at any rate. And that was putting a strain on the Naira. Now, APs did this. Everybody came crashing from 17 million to 5 million. Dollar did not change. Using dollar as reason for whatever they were doing to us, the dollar didn't change overnight. Yeah, they came down to 5 million. Now they're even selling, they're underpricing now. Some are advertising $350.
Just to impact.
So that's why I said,
frustrate you.
Exactly. That's why I said. That's why I'm saying congratulations to Nigeria on two levels. One is you don't have to sell your house to fly to the UK anymore. Two, the dollar has come crashing. We've proved that if only we are patriotic in this country, we cannot do it. It's not for the government alone to do. Play your part. That's why I'm saying congratulations, Nigerians, because this country, we've achieved something collectively as Nigerians.
All right.
And the government has been supportive.
Yeah. One of the things, of course, I mean, as you can see on the screen, is that this is a brand new Boeing aircraft. One of those aircraft that AP said they've purchased, perhaps the kind of similar experience that you probably will get on some other airlines is what AirPeace is giving. And so the question is that those who will say, Mr. Oyema, don't rejoice too yet, because what you have just raised is those experts who have said, we've seen other Nigerian-owned airlines who have gone through this route and frustrated out of the market. The same strategy is being employed right now by some of those foreign airlines to drop the price so that people will now leave AirPeace and go to those foreign airlines. Are you aware of those tactics?
Of course. Of course. It's a very devilish conspiracy. All of a sudden, airlines are underpricing. Underpricing. That is below the cost.
Just in the space of 1 month.
Yes, not up to a month. One other airline was advertising $100. Another one $305, $350. This, if you fill up the entire aircraft and carry people on the wings, it's not even enough to buy your fuel. So why are they doing that? Their governments are supporting them. Their governments are supporting them because Nigeria has been a cash cow for everybody. Their governments are supporting them.
They come here, they fleece the country, and they even have opportunity to fly just around the country.
Yes.
The way you will not, as a
doing their country.
You're not doing that.
So their governments are supporting them to do this and take a piece out. The idea is to take a piece out. And the moment they succeed in taking a piece out, Nigerians will pay 20 times over once again. It's going to happen if, God forbid, they're able to take a piece out. Because what is happening now is scary. And of course, even in Gatwick where you are you given 100% cooperation? Let me tell you this. On the first day, on the inaugural flight out of London, 24 hours to the time, they moved us to another check-in area, other than the place assigned to us. The place they gave us, the carousel was not working. So when you check in people, you need to manually carry the load to go from 50 meters away to go and drop it somewhere else, just to delay you. No other airline faced that.
Frustrate your operation.
Exactly, no other airline faced that.
And the fact that
they can even use your ground handlers.
They didn't even allow you they didn't permit you to land in Heathrow, to operate in Heathrow.
Of course, that one is, they will tell you no slot. Even Gatwick, when we got to Gatwick, we now said, okay, let us take Gatwick. They say, oh, no slot available. When we pushed and pushed, they gave us scattered slots. Today, 3 p.m., next day, 2 a.m., the next day. Who does that? So Festus Keyamo had to wade in, went to London with us, and to warn them, if you continue these stupid, foolish acts, the government of Nigeria will surely retaliate. And this is from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We will retaliate. So
the government of Nigeria has solidly backed LPs?
Of course. I said that before the President during the IFTA. That is the truth. The government of Nigeria is behind LPs, making sure they didn't. But the government has to do more now. That is evident. There is maybe an unofficial statement about taking this airline out. Because when you charge $350, I've told you, fill up every seat, put passengers on the wings of the aircraft. You can never fear that particular place.
I see the flag of Nigeria, the map of the flag of Nigeria on most of Airpeace airlines. And it gives some sense of pride.
Because we are a flag carrier.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people will say the British Airways is not owned by the British government. Yeah. Virgin Airline is not owned by the British government. No. But the government in that country will back it and will support it and make sure that nothing happens to these airlines.
Because it's a British investment.
But, yeah.
They create jobs for their people.
So this is a Nigerian investment.
This is a Nigerian investment.
And for
thousands of people, thousands.
One of the rare times we are seeing the government pushing and also supporting this, isn't it?
Yeah.
I say in a rare time we've seen a government supporting a private interest for the sake of Nigerians.
Yeah, you saw Bayo Onanuga the other day telling Festus Keyamo that if anybody tries to disrupt AP's operations from within, sack immediately. That gave me hope. So the government of President Bola Tinubu is behind us. I'm here. I'm sure after the Salah celebrations, I'll be meeting with government to see how we can help. It's not just Airpeace alone. Anything we do now is for the entire Nigerian aviation industry to succeed. If they take out Airpeace prematurely, this country will pay dearly for it. 10 times over, quote me, billions will be lost. There will be another heavy strain on the Naira. Remember, it's only yours that can save. I invite other Nigerian airlines to join the fray. Let them come. Let all of us do international operations. Yes, it's very, very dirty. International aero politics is very dirty. But somebody has to pay the price. Like people say, oh, the London route is the most lucrative. No, it is not the most lucrative route. It is not. It has been the most lucrative because there was no competition. And there was this unspoken alliance amongst airlines coming to Nigeria to charge any amount. So it became very lucrative for them. Now that Airpeace has entered the fray, it's no longer lucrative for Airpeace, it's no longer lucrative for them. Because the fares have been so drastically brought down. And their governments are supporting them for them to be able to do what they are doing. They are targeted at taking Airpeace out of the market. So we need our government to come out and see what they can do to support. If it is a reduction of charges that we pay, we do it. Their own people are supporting them. We cannot be left to go in alone.
Right. I mean, I'd like to know what will be the way forward. You're ready for this politics. You know that it is a very dirty arena and you need to be tough to be able to. And on behalf of millions of Nigerians, we are Channels Television. We're a private entity. And we are also supporting you, giving the backing and supporting, looking at another private interest, and we're saying, kudos to you. You are making us proud, just as every private organization in Nigeria should make Nigeria proud. And we say, kudos to you. And when we wonder, what is the next step? What is the way forward? How do we guarantee that earpiece has come to stay on this international route for the sake of Nigerians?
Yes, first of all, I have to say this to you. I know why they are all scared of earpiece. You know why? Earpiece is in the UK bona fide. We passed the TCO audit. So we are not just there doing wet lease. We are not going into the UK on the back of wet lease operations only. No, we are there bona fide as of right. They came, audited us. We passed their TCO audit, which is very, very stringent. It's all about safety. We passed it, so we got that TCO approval, which most airlines from Nigeria in the past never got. So they depended on wet lease. And when you depend on wet lease, I'm telling you, you're going to wet lease an airline from an airline over there. Whenever they wake up and want to deal with you, they use that lessor and take you out. The lessor will one day wake up and say, oh, we cannot continue with this. That is the end of business. And the cost of wet leasing is so high. That's the reason Festus Keyamo went to Airbus to seek collaboration the other time, to see if Nigerian airlines could start getting leased aircraft. All these airlines all over the world, they don't own their planes. Give it to Nigerian airlines. We own our planes. I own all the over 34 airplanes Airpeace has bought.
100%.
100%. We own them. We purchase them. With the ones that are still on order, it's not supposed to be so. All these big airlines you see all over the world, name them, all of them, no exception. They don't own those aircraft. What they do is that they make orders from Boeing or Airbus or from Embraer. A lessor, a financier comes in, pays for it, and leases it to them. And maybe for 17 years or 15 years, they'll be paying lease rentals back to the lessor. At the end of the lease, the lease period, the lessor will take the aircraft back and maybe sell or renew the lease. So it is very easy for them to build capacity. But over here, we have to cover money. Just like you want to buy your house, you have to carry every money. And the banking system in this country should come up and do real banking, not making money for the owners. They should come out and do real banking, not about airlines alone.
This system is frustrating businesses.
Exactly. When you go to Canada, the banking staff, his KPI is not about how many big men did you attract to the bank or about how much you're able to bring into the bank. It's about how many people you have been able to give loans to at the end of the year. If you stay abroad, every morning you see leaflets coming to your house from the banks. Come and take loan. They make the society so easy. It's different in my country, whereby the banks are not really disbursing loans to businesses. They need to stand up. I said it the other day during the Iftar with Mr. President. Let all of us help this government. We have a government now. Until another election, let's make sure the government succeeds. The only way to make the government succeed is not by lip service. Your small sphere, do that could touch the lives of the people. When the people are happy, it rubs off on the government of the day. That's the best way to do things.
Mr. Festus,
so the banks are needed to come in for this financing aspect of aviation. You have insurance, and they don't have anything to fear.
Give credit that will not frustrate and strain the businesses. Mr. Festus Keyamo said part of his ministry's plan is to create Aeropolis, where there will be a community where everything that has to do with the airport and all what have you will be created. Nigeria doesn't have any of those. Because you go to Atlanta, Delta. You go to Frankfurt, Lufthansa. You go to Dubai, Emirates. There are these airports and infrastructures, or these airlines and infrastructure are typified to them. They're tied to them. In your own thinking, what do you think government needs to do in terms of airline, aviation, infrastructure that will help this business to thrive?
Well, Mr. Keyamo has been talking about this Aerotropolis. What we had before, there was no plan. He didn't meet any plan, as he said. What they're trying to do now is to bring in experts to design this Aerotropolis, because it's not just about airlines alone. You have the hotels, you have the banks, you have the rail, you have the land transport, and all of them, keen into the Aerotropolis. So it has to be designed. But then the banking system and the financial world must also be ready to develop this infrastructure. The present infrastructure is debilitating and is discouraging. So the government is saying they're going to do something about it. I think they've said about doing it. And they need every encouragement they can get to do that. If Mr. Keyamo can do that, that is kudos to the government. But the most important aspect is this leasing that he went out there in France to look for. If he can succeed in getting Nigerian Airlines to be able to access dry lease as against wet lease, that will help the industry so much. And going to the UK, you asked a question the other time, how do we intend to sustain the tempo? We, in APIS, we can play our part, but I keep on saying the government has a huge part to play. We are in the market now trying to buy more 777s to make sure we have enough. Because remember, APIS is doing Guangzhou, China. Every Wednesday we are doing India too. We are doing Saudi Arabia, South Africa. And Dubai is about to happen again. And now we are doing London, which is a piece of cake, just 6 hours. APIS flies about 160 hours daily in this country. 160 hours of flying, unblemished, daily. So this noise about London, people query. Yes,
you are dealing with Embraer, you have Boeing.
Of course, on brand new planes. So this question about, oh, can he fly to London? I wonder. APIS flies 14 hours non-stop to Guangzhou, and the plane lands. Within 2 hours, that same plane takes off, start coming back another 14 or 15 hours non-stop. So why do you want to? Why can't we take ourselves away from that slave mentality that our own cannot do?
Mr. Onyema, let me ask you, and frankly speaking, because I imagine the president is watching, the whole nation is watching right now, and let's get together as a people. What do you fear the most? What is your biggest fear about what you have put your hands on in terms of these routes?
Well, if it comes to the UK route, I know it's not a child's play. It's not easy to take food away from somebody and you expect the person to lie on the ground for you.
You're expecting them that they will fight back?
They're already fighting back. I tell you one thing. Every day, APIS, we posted 100% on-time departure from Nigeria. 100%. We make sure we push out before time. We've always been landing in the UK.
On time?
On time and before the time. We've never landed after the time. We've always landed before the time. There are some windows you're allowed to land before the time. You even have a window to maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes after the time. We've never landed on the time. We landed before the time at all times. But what happens out of UK? We've not left UK on time.
Because of operational issues?
Because we are being deliberately frustrated. Different ways they will frustrate you in all ways.
You think a government-to-government bilateral talks can resolve this?
Of course. We are compiling a whole dossier of what has happened in the last 1 week for the federal government of Nigeria to step in. Because remember, there are this 820 principle. If you don't achieve 80% on-time departure out of that place, you are stopped from coming in again.
And you know what?
They will use that to say, you can't come in again. Now, every time the ground handler, they can use the ground handlers, they can even use your catering, they can use, so like sometimes, the other day, we finished boarding. For 20 minutes, they were looking for ground handlers everywhere. They couldn't see the ground handlers to load one of the craters into the aircraft. And when they come, no reason will be given to you. No reason whatsoever. I've told you the one of giving us a carousel where...
A dead carousel.
A dead carousel. We need to be carrying our load. And when we got to the boarding gate, they said, oh, the system collapsed. Also, the IT collapsed.
Yeah, so
the government needs to know this.
And the government of Nigeria needs to stand up to the government of the UK.
That if you stop APIS any day, because government has to look at our operational, this thing out of Nigeria to the UK. 100%. 100%. So what is
going on there? So there are those, Mr. Onyema, saying that it is not only Festus Keyamo, because he's in charge of aviation. There are those who are asking the Minister of Foreign Affairs
and Trade,
the Minister of Trade and Investment, to also stand up and ensure the safety of Nigeria's business interests in those countries. Because at the end of the day, they will find some excuse and come after airpeace if this is not done, isn't it?
Yeah, if it's not done, they will do that. But you remember when we did our inaugural flight, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Trade, they were all there to show support that this is a Nigerian project. It's not about airpeace now. It's a Nigerian project. And really, for once, I've always been proud of my nation. Like I became prouder of being called a Nigerian. The way the present government came out, rallied around Keyamo when they fought against the slot regime they were giving us. Now, the Minister of Trade also came on board, Foreign Affairs came on board, and they are doing that. Look at the Nigerian High Commission in the UK. The acting High Commissioner made sure airpeace were on the billboards. All the buildings surrounding that place, they were littered with videos of airpeace coming to London. We've never had it so good. Never had it so good. The support from President Tinubu's government was massive, and I thank him.
Mr. Allen Onyema, we can only wish you the best. I mean, just about when I was about entering the studio, I saw a videotape of a pastor in Lagos, Pastor Wole Oladiyan, having a special prayer for you.
Oh, another one, not Adefarasi.
No, this is a pastor in Lagos, Wole Oladiyan, who organized a special prayer for you. And there's individuals also who are wishing you well.
Sorry, shall we allow me to say something? Pastor Adefarasi, where is he from? He's a Yoruba man.
Yeah.
The Wole
Oladiyan.
Oladiyan
From Osun State.
is a Yoruba man.
Yeah.
Jide Yanuwura is a Yoruba man. Jide Yanuwura that wrote the first piece warning Nigerians about what he saw in Gatwick, about the deliberate antics those who are trying to bring to bear on airpeace. I want Nigerians, we must stick with airpeace, that whatever happens, must stick with airpeace. And he was the first person to do massive positive review. What does that show? Because one Yoruba man talked about the Isiagu dress. Yeah. And people were, see,
I don't even want to go into
99% of Nigerians, Yorubas, Igbos, Hausas or Fulanis or Birom, Shekiri, whatever, all Igalas, all of them support airpeace. The fact that one single person just in his heart tweeted some silly comments, don't distract.
Mr.
So
Onyema,
people should not bother about that.
Look, on this note, the whole nation is behind you. Yeah. We're supporting you. And 99%. Here at Channels Television, we're also rooting for you to succeed. When you succeed, all of us succeed. All the best. Congratulations again, Mr. Allen Onyema, proprietor and CEO of airpeace. Thank you so much indeed for coming.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Nigeria.
Thank you so much indeed. Yeah. That's our show for tonight, everyone. I hope you are enjoying your holiday. Have a wonderful one. God bless you.